Hi, my name is Anna Enger, and this is my presentation on The Truman Show and how its acting made the movie. Let's get started. So, the introduction to the film. The Truman Show, which was originally made in 1998, is a comedy drama film that follows the main character, Truman Burbank, as he discovers that his entire life is a TV show, complete with the island that he lives on being a large soundstage, everyone that he met in his life, including friends, family, even his wife, being actors that were paid to actually help keep the illusion of a show alive. So, how did Jim Carrey even get casted into the film? Well, Jim Carrey was one of the first choices, actually, that director Peter Weir decided that who should play Truman, despite Carrey's only films at the time being both in the comedy genre and not anywhere touching the dramatics, with him only doing Ace Ventura and Dumb and Dumber at the time. Weir was actually quoted saying that Carrey reminded him of a young Charlie Chaplin with the sort of manic sadness that led him to waiting almost a full year for Jim Carrey to actually commit the film because he needed to finish up working on the film that he was working at the time. So, who is Peter Weir? Well, Peter Weir actually is an Australian filmmaker who was born in 1944. He's 81 now. He retired from filmmaking back in 2010, but he received an Academy Honorary Award in 2022, actually, for a Lifetime Achievement. So, he has made so many different movies over the years, including Dead Poets Society, The Way Back, which was his last film in 2010, Gallipoli, and then of course the Truman Show as well. But there's many others that he's directed. So how did Jim Carrey actually create the character of Truman Burbank? Well, what makes Truman's character so special in the film is the way that Carrey carried himself into the film and used that throughout the other character. He really pulled a lot from his times in Dumb and Dumber and Ace Ventura. He also used little bits of improv throughout the movie, which really give it that special Jim Carrey touch. This includes the Trumania scene where Truman draws on the mirror using soap. I have a picture of that over there. He also portrays Truman as a character with a certain air of innocence, especially in the beginning, that slowly gets destroyed or more corrupted as we see the character progress throughout the movie, especially since Carrey portrays Truman as more of a naturalistic character. Naturalistic being somebody that you would actually meet in real life. You know, Truman has a job, he lives in just a generic city in the US. He has a life, he has friends, he has family. You know, Truman is somebody you would actually know in real life, which I feel really helps the audience connect with this character. So, how did the other characters actually act, and how did that contribute into the film? Well, the other characters it's in the movie itself plays background actors as well, which include Laura Linney playing as Merle Burbank, Truman's wife, Ed Harris as Kristoff and Truman's father, Noah Emmerich as Marlin, and Holland Taylor as Truman's mother. Each character is seen as, background actors, backup actors throughout the movie, which is how, even though we saw Truman's father in a flashback scene get killed in a boat accident, he's actually seen by Truman walking around the streets as a homeless person. So I actually want to touch on Truman's wife Meryl really quick because she is extremely important throughout the film and really sets the tone with the way that her character and Truman interact with each other. So she's incredibly important. She's the one in the beginning that Truman trusts the most and interacts with. She helps Truman break away from the reality that he's living and escape the actual set because the actress behind Meryl becomes attached to Truman and doesn't want to see him suffer. She really does play off of Jim Carrey and his character, especially when Truman starts to ask too many questions. He starts spiraling. She immediately starts going off on an ad about cocoa powder, which causes Truman to essentially have a full mental breakdown, hold her at knife point, until she essentially accidentally slips and calls out for somebody to stop this, which even further drives his paranoia that something's not right, because he's just looking around. He's like, who are you calling out to? There's nobody else here. So, how did all that lead to the final product? Well, the entire movie, we watched Truman as a character go from an innocent man with a wife, with a job, who had no idea what was going on, to this paranoid man that doesn't really trust anyone or anything around him, to finally, at the end, a man who is dead set on getting his freedom and escaping no matter who tries to stop him. The final result is an incredible movie that's not only funny as all get out to watch at times, but is also heartbreaking as you get attached to Truman and Jim Carrey's portrayal of him, and you have to watch him as he essentially destroys his own, like, his life gets destroyed and then he has to build it back up. And that's all I got. Thank you so much for watching, and here's the bibliography. Alright, thank you.